Good afternoon. This is Jenny B here on the other side of the camera. Hello. I'm interviewing this beautiful lady who's going to introduce herself. Please, dear, introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Elaine. I've been around for over 60 years, but actually been present for maybe 2 years now at this point.
Wow. Now, these are called Soul Talk Matters. It's a YouTube channel to find how and why about life and happiness you find in yourself, okay? And your journey. And it's okay to be you, whoever you are. And that's what these are going to be. That's why it's called Soul Talk. It's from your soul, okay? Now, we're going to 2 or 3 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Elaine all about herself, okay? Only what she's going to tell, and see how she feels about life and how it's made her happy and self-confidence in any ways. And it's okay to be you no matter who it is. It's the fears inside our head that stops us being ourselves. Don't worry about outside, it's self-acceptance. So, dear, okay, just talk a little bit about yourself. Whatever you want comes to mind to make what makes you feel contented to be yourself and what gave you your strength right now. A
Okay.
hard one.
Oh, yes, that's a lot of tough questions
I
all
know.
in one. Um, the main thing that has always motivated me has been learning and knowledge and understanding. And that's perhaps because I didn't know myself and I didn't know how to learn about myself.
Uh-huh.
More recently, I finally have, and that means that I am now probably happy for the first time in my life. And I can understand myself for the first time in my life. And after this many years, that's, in my view, an accomplishment that I'm very happy with. Um, so I've got a fairly complex background in multiple countries, in multiple occupations, and multiple careers, but they've all been associated with learning more. Now I'm busily learning more about myself, which is fulfilling in a completely different way from all the other forms of learning that I've had before. And I'm getting to meet lovely people such as Jenny, whom I
Oh, thank you.
otherwise might never have encountered before. And I'm learning more about humans and human nature. Lots of good stuff, some not so good stuff. But in general, very happy with where I'm at now.
Wow, so cool. Knowing this about yourself now, and you mentioned to me what it was, how long ago, please tell the audience when you first realised the age group that you knew you weren't the opposite gender.
Um, I would say it started when I was very, very young, perhaps as young as two, certainly by the age of four. And at the same time, I learned that not only was I different and that I thought different, but that I needed to keep most of that to myself
Yes,
from everyone, family, siblings, um, teachers, because it generally wasn't accepted, especially back then.
yes.
And being the smallest one and the lightest one in my school class, I had no desire to be beaten up by claiming that I was something different. So I kept that to myself for very, very many years. That was constantly reinforced by society as I was growing up. And um, basically, I did not decide to let the public know about the real me until I had gone through a series of losses, let's say. The penultimate one was actually losing my employment. And at that point, I felt there was nothing more that society could take away from me or that I could lose, and that I could finally be free. And that turned out to be a happy moment, not a loss, but
Yes.
a time of gain. So I gained more at the time that I thought I was losing more than I had ever thought possible.
Wow. Now, we mentioned before we were talking about demisexual, asexual, intersex, and what have you. Do you wish to discuss that on here to help others who are having difficulty coming teenagers,
Okay.
adults, because they won't know who to say to, and is it okay to be this? And my parents might think this, or the parents might go, "Do I tell the children or wives?" Or it doesn't matter which side. Do you want to discuss
All
that?
right. The only thing that it's okay to be is yourself. And that means you need to be true to yourself. Don't claim to be something that you're not. So, does that mean that you know what you are? No, probably not. So that means you may be making some claims for a while that you later wind up modifying or changing. So answer the best that you can, both to yourself and to others at all times. If you always answer the best that you can, then you're not lying and you won't be needing to retract something at a later date and say, oh, I was lying. You can say, I've adjusted, I've changed, I understand more now. Life is a journey of understanding, so you'll always gain more knowledge as long as you're alive. That's one. The terminology is the other side of it. What do you actually say you are when people ask? Well, that depends on who's doing the asking and why they are asking, what they want to do with that information. So it's not just what information is true, but what information will be appropriate to pass on and useful for them, and what will they actually understand. Some people hear the alphabet soup that is currently being used in the general rainbow community, and they get totally confused by the letters. They think you can only be one of the letters at a time. They don't recognize that there are at least two major sets of letters, best described as who you want to sleep with and who you want to sleep as. Who you are is the one side. Those would be questions about your own nature. Then there's the side of your sexuality, which is the other part of those letters, the other set of those letters. So being one letter doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically any of those other letters. You don't have to be more than one. So some people, for example, are only L and everything else is, quote, normal. Or they're only G. Or
Yes.
But some people are both L and T, or G and I, or something else. There are multiple different combinations possible. So being T doesn't mean that you are L or B or G or even active. That's not part of it. You can be trans without having any sexual expression whatsoever, because that's not the point of being trans. Trans is who you are, not how you behave sexually. Whereas you can be gay or lesbian or something of that nature, and you don't have to be trans, you don't have to be intersex, you don't have to be changing anything about yourself in any way or claiming you're anything other than normal, because gay is perfectly normal, lesbian is perfectly normal. Depends on who you are. Trans is also perfectly normal, but in a totally different sense of normal.
Wow. I am my second relation marriage. My wife helped me be me, and thank God she came into my life every day. And she's now on her journey, and it's just so helped me in all these bits and pieces. About now, people are going to say, "Well, I'm in this relationship and in this relationship marriage." Any advice for anyone who's in a relationship or of this nature?
I'm probably not the person to ask for about relationships, because I've had one relationship in my entire life, and that lasted by far most of my life, and I don't regret it.
Bingo. Okay, and you're happy who you are now,
Yes, I
and
am
you,
happier
yeah.
now without a relationship than I was in a relationship, yet I am happy with the relationship that I have had.
So what you're telling everyone is it's okay to be whatever, right?
Yes, it's okay to
Exactly.
be by yourself, not necessarily with someone. If you're okay with yourself, then you're also okay by yourself, if that's what's right for you. If not, you can be with someone else. Some people like to be with someone else and someone different every other night. Now, that's a different story again. That may be actually dangerous in some ways.
Lots of things
But
is.
most people tend to find someone that they want to be with, and that's great if you can find someone.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, brilliant. Well, I'm going to get into the picture now. Right. So I'm just squeezing a little bit, so we move the camera a little bit, so I can just. Right. There we go. Hello, Jenny B, or Jenny Beatrix Victoria Kendrick. Okay, and these shows I'm going to do, these talks I'm going to do, is going to help anyone on the journey, be it a parent who've got trans children, or children of parents who's transgendered, or rainbow of any denomination, or whatever it is. The idea for me to do this was to say that it's okay to be you. And I'm going to go around shops and businesses and say, look, hi, Jenny B, and I'm out. So if you're scared and you're hiding away, it's not the best place to be, to grow and to be yourself. And we all live in fear, and the word fear, false evidence appearing real. And what I've learned was I was so scared to go outside the door, I hid inside. It's not actually outside. People say, oh, it's a little easier now. The trick is in the head. When you accept you, and you're brave to go outside the door, you're going to find people don't like you, you're going to find people love you to bits. But what I found is I lost a lot. But I tell you what, I've gained so much more. I made so many more friends. And the real people supposed to come into your life, who are supposed to be there. Those who weren't supposed to be, they go on their own journeys. God bless them. And if they don't understand you, that's okay. If they're angry, that's okay, because they don't understand. That's all. Don't get angry at them. That's their journey to discover who they are, how they are, whatever they may be. Okay? Your journey and your life is about you, and learn to be the best you can be, whatever it may be. Whatever it is, agender, bisexual, transsexual, pansexual, which I am. Well, it's just be yourself. But it's a long journey, find about yourself. And that's what it's all about. So this is what my talk's about. I'm going to talk to people in shops and factories and businesses. And I'm going to go around saying, look, I'm here, and how are you going to be treated outside? So I'm going to show you you don't have to be afraid. You can dress how you want, be you want, bits and pieces. What's the doctor saying? First do no harm. And that's the trick. To self and to others. And if they're angry with you, that's okay. Let them be angry. It teaches you what not to be. And that's what it's about. It's about loving yourself to the max and being kind and compassionate for others who do not understand you, then with the fear you live in or the fear you lived in, and how hard it was to come out. That's what it's about. They don't understand you, so they live in that fear. So, and when you get through that fear, that tunnel, and you come out on the other side, it's bliss. But they're still locked in there because they don't understand you and they couldn't do it themselves, cisgendered people, or wherever they are. It's about being the best you can be, whoever you are. Gender, colour does not matter. Being the best being you can be. Because your body and your mind is your home. That's your universe, darlings. That's your garden and you're the gardener. Okay? So I'm going to go in now and we're going to say goodbye. And, oh, hang on, getting old. Hang on. Right now. Say goodbye, dear.